Hi everybody. Today I want to talk about the fact that the job of a presentation has changed. And it has a lot to do with this. So this is what my desk looked like in 1996. Yes, there was a computer. And when you think back to 1996 or any time more than 10, 15 years ago, if I wanted to buy anything from a company, then I would phone up the reception, they would send me a brochure, and normally a salesperson would come and their job was to give a presentation that would convince me that it's a good job to do business with them. So the job of a presentation was this, to transfer information. And hopefully they did it in a way that was inspiring and elegant and powerful, that would convince me to be their customer. But then something came along that changed everything, and it was this, the internet. So when the internet came along in a big way, and more importantly, things like inbound marketing came along, the place where I went to find information changed, because it was no longer about talking to the company, it was about going to their website. And if marketing's doing a good job, then I can find out a lot of information there about the things that I want to buy. Now, a good way to show this human behavior is BMW. BMW, if you think about it, the car showroom hasn't really changed in 30 years. And what BMW noticed is that the customer behavior was changing. So instead of coming 6 or 7 times to the car showroom, people were coming once. And they were coming once because they'd already done their research online. But why did they still come to the showroom? They came because they had 2 or 3 questions that were important to them, but they couldn't find that information elsewhere, either on the website or in a chat forum or something like that, or from one of their friends. So what BMW decided to do was to change the conversation that happens inside the car showroom, and they launched the BMW Genius Program. And the BMW Geniuses, their sole objective is to get into a conversation with the customer and find out what are the gaps in their information that's preventing them from saying, yes, I'm going to go ahead and buy this BMW. And yes, you've guessed it, that's the job of your presentation these days. Because when somebody agrees to let you present to them, I can almost guarantee that they're going to be 50, 60, 70% of the way through their decision. The reason that they've allowed you to do a presentation with them is because they have a few gaps in their information. And I always say, especially if you're in sales, have you ever had that, email or phone conversation where they say, oh, just email me the deck? And just email me the deck is a great symptom of, I just need 2 or 3 answers. I don't want the whole 20-minute pitch. So finding the gaps in the information is the job of a presentation today. So how do we do it? Well, that has a lot to do with what we call conversational presenting. And it's this little switch from, instead of the presentation controlling the conversation, it flips. Now the conversation controls the presentation. And it's about going into that meeting and saying, thank you for giving me 20 minutes of your time. How can we best spend it? And depending on what they say, that's where you start the presentation. So you still control the endpoint. You still, say, this is where I want to end up at the end of this conversation. But you let the person that you're presenting to control the journey based on what information do they want out of this meeting. It's really, really powerful, but it requires you to build a presentation in a slightly different way. So the idea is you build one presentation that has almost every single bit of information in it that you need. Most salespeople that I talk to say, look, I know 95% of the questions I'll get. I just don't know which questions will come in which meeting. Well, here it doesn't matter, because you do the work up front. You build this really amazing presentation which has everything in it, but you present a different version of it each time, depending on how people answer that question about what do you want to know in this meeting. So it's really powerful. It's this way of, giving control over to your audience that will still get you to the place you need to at the end of the meeting. So that's today's tip, conversational presenting. I'll see you next time.